welcome to stampingcatcrew.com. Today we're going to be working with the Lots of Lavender set. This is the finished card that we're going to be working on. Hopefully the shimmer shows up in the lavender leaves, and obviously I did them in Island Indigo and not lavender, so I was being a rebel. I of course had a color challenge in mind because we've been running those a lot. We've been doing blog candy, which is lots of fun. So I'm going to get my foam pad and I'm going to show you kind of what we've been doing. So I'm going to take my Island Indigo right here. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. So these are all the parts that are in there. This is what we've done with the Island Indigo. All of the leaves have the sets here. And then I always tell you, remember to make your envelopes pretty. There is this actual floral set, which I did in this corner. And I did some of the little dots in some of the coordinating colors right here. So, and then they of course have their leaves and things that are stamped onto those. I'm going to set that aside. The only extra thing that we did, a couple things. So there wasn't a stamp set for the little, they remind me of little berries. So what I did is I took the marker and happened to do one of these to bring in some of that green around the outsides here. And then I also took a little bit of the Island Indigo, and because I like to color, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do just a tiny bit of shading. So I'm not going to make you sit through it. I'll speed up the video, but you'll see what I mean. There's that. So we're going to do a little bit of fussy cutting, and then I'm going to show you how to die cut this up. So you can see this is half die cut, and then this is half fussy cut at the top. So I'm going to do the fussy cutting, and I'll speed up through that, and then I'll show you how to place the die cut. Okay, so we've done our fussy cutting around our edges here, and then I'm going to bring in the Big Shot and I'm going to show you what I did. I used the stitched framelits, and it's one of the circles that's from the stitched framelit. Bring this over here. Then I'm going to take this circle, hopefully the camera picks this up, and I'm going to feed my little leaves through all the way down to where I can't, right here. So it's going to cut just the very tips of those off down at the bottom. And I'm going to turn this around so that the circle actually goes through first. And lay my top plate on. I'm going to run that through. That aside, and you can see the die cut comes out just like this. So what's fun about this is you can see where we did the little fussy cut. We left it right where we wanted to have the circle here, and then you've got just a little bit of a sharp edge kind of where the circle came in. You're just going to take your snips and you're going to snip that off, and you are good to go. So that's going to be your focal point. And I'm going to show you the card assembly next. We've already done the envelope, so everything else is pretty straightforward. I did the white cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. We're going to do the snail adhesive around the Island Indigo. And this one is cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Center that. And I'm going to go ahead and speed up the camera because you don't need to sit through me layering. When we get to the part where we're assembling the base, I will stop and show you what's going on. Okay, so most of the base is assembled here. What I want to do is bring in our sentiment. And this one happens to come, since the Lots of Lavender didn't have one, I picked one that came from Friendship's Sweetest Thoughts. And I chose Friendship's Sweetest Thoughts Blossom in the Heart because it would fit up in that corner perfectly. I'm going to bring back in our foam pad. Right here, this is the card that we're using. Grab my Island Indigo ink. And this is our sentiment. You want to stamp that up, and then what you want to do is go straight down and straight back up with even pressure without any rocking, because you don't want to have a halo effect. So if you notice when you ink up, and oftentimes you'll get that little ink around the edges, if you rock your stamp at all, you're going to end up getting that ink on your paper. You don't want to do that. You want to go straight down and straight back up with even pressure, and having a foam mat actually really does help give you a much nicer stamped image. So because the base is ready to go, you'll see that I added a white strip across here, and the reason that I did that is because I chose to use the washi tape that's in the 2018 Occasions catalog. I just loved it and thought it was a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do, I wanted it to not show the color behind any of the green or white or anything. I just wanted the white to show behind the actual sparkly washi tape. So if I cut a piece off there, I can wrap that around the back, and it's going to lay flat onto the layers that we've done already. So if I flip this over, I'm going to do it on this one. I'll go around the 4 corners here, and then the last thing that we have is our silver ribbon that we're putting around the edges. So I'm actually going to add some adhesive onto each end of that. And that runs along the bottom right here. It runs right along the bottom of where that washi tape is. And there's nothing that tucks around behind. So what we want to do is center that right on your card, just like this. And then this is the part that we had. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab a dimensional. We're going to put one right here. We want those flowers popped up, but we want the base to be attached down. So I'm going to grab some snail adhesive, and I'm going to run that right around the bottom there. And then we'll see what I mean. So that one's going to lay flat. And those are going to be popped up. So we do have a little piece of ribbon, and then also one of the charms, and these are from the Petal Passion Embellishments. It's from the Petal Passion Suite, which is really fun. So in this same one, there are also some really fun leaves. So you have the charms with the pearls in the center, and then you have some of the leaves that dangle. So love those. I'm going to add that with a little glue dot. And we want to have that right where these two come together. And then we're also going to add a glue dot behind this embellishment. And actually going to stick right there. So the final step that we had was adding some shimmer with the Wink of Stella, and that was what we were talking about, hopefully showing up in the camera. It's one of those really subtle things. In real life, you can see the shimmer and it looks amazing. The camera, though, sometimes has a hard time picking that up. So once I get done playing, I'm going to pick that up and move it a bit, and hopefully you'll be able to see that on there. And we're going to add some also to the bow. That's it. So we're just going to bend these up a bit to give that some dimension. And then this is, hopefully the Wink of Stella shows up. I know I can see it really good at different angles, so hopefully you can too. But this is the finished card. So it's part fussy cut, and then any shape framelit you can pick, you can absolutely do that with. And there's the card envelope. So I hope it helped and gave you some ideas to do some combination, having your dies come off the edge of a paper. There are so many things that you can do to play with them and make different shapes. So thanks so much for stopping by, and happy creating.